So the formula for volume then is capital B times H. Okay, so that capital B stands for area of the base. Okay, so this is for all prisms because for all prisms you're able to calculate the area of the base regardless of what the base is. Okay, so sometimes it might be a pentagon, sometimes it might be a square. Okay, whatever it is, you can calculate the area. Okay, how many dimensions is volume? Good, 3. So your units are always going to be cubed on volume. It's important. Okay? So there is volume. All right, let's think about surface area, which is, I think, a little bit more challenging. Okay, so it's a little different. Okay, so surface area is equal to perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. All right, so this P is perimeter of base. Can't spell. The H is height. What did I do? I put it in the wrong spot. All right, and B is the area of base. That's why I'm a math teacher. I can't spell. All right, so if you were thinking about this kind of visually, so the reason it is this, okay, so if you think about the perimeter of this base, okay, so think about the perimeter here, and if you are stacking that perimeter all the way down, that would equal kind of the area of right here, right? So if you think about the perimeter, and you're stacking that number all the way down, it would still be hollow, right, because perimeter is just the outside, and you'd stack it all the way down. So that would give you the area of this whole thing. Okay, then the other thing that you add to that is just the area of these two bases. Okay, so the PH part gives you the rectangles, and the 2B part gives you the two bases. Okay? All right. Let's try an example. Does anybody have any questions on just the formulas for now? Okay, cool. Ooh, good question. All right, so surface area is just like regular area, and it is two-dimensional, so it would be units squared. Units squared. Good question. All right. So we are going to find the volume and the surface area of this prism here. All right, so volume is equal to what again? Good, area of the base times the height. All right, so in this case, we would need to find the area of this triangle. Okay, so the area of the base of this triangle is 1/2 base times height, yes? Okay, so what is that? 2.25? Okay. All right, so there's our base. All right, now we are just going to multiply that base times 5. What do you get? What is it? 11.25? Okay. All right, so 11.25, and our units are cubed, so we are going to put centimeters cubed. That would be the volume of that prism right there. All right. Let's do surface area. All right, so we need the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. All right, so let's calculate perimeter of the base first. All right, so this is where your trig/triangle stuff comes in. Okay, because once again, I am going to have to cut this up into 2 different triangles with my right triangle in order to calculate this side length over here. Okay, so you can think of this as a 45, 45, 90 triangle, or you can think about it as if you just want to use Pythagorean theorem, I'm cool with that too. Okay, so whichever one you do, where is that side length? So whichever method you use should come up with the same thing. 2.12? Cool, that's what I got too. All right, so 2.12. All right, so this one side is 2.12. Okay, so the perimeter then would just be 2.12 times 3, which is 6.36. All right, so 6.36 times our height, which is still 5, plus 2. The area of our base we already calculated down here, which is just 2.25. Okay, so the surface area added together, or multiplied, I mean, together, would just be up there.
Why would it be 6.36?
So 6.36 is because I have one of these sides and I need the perimeter. So I added 2.12 plus 2.12 plus 2.12. So 2.12 is one side. So if I do times 3, that would be the whole triangle. So if you do 2.12 plus 2.12 plus 2.12, you get 6.36. Or if you do
2.12 plus 2.12 plus 3.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so I made an equilateral triangle. I see what you mean. You're right. So it would be 7.24, sorry.
Thank you.
All right. Is that what you guys got, 7.24? Okay. Did you guys get 40.7 for the whole surface area? Okay. Awesome. That would be in centimeters squared. All right, any questions on number 1? Yep.
Why would it be times 5?
So times 5 is the height. So it's pH. So that's the perimeter times the height of 5. Yep. 40.7 centimeters squared for the surface area. All right, any other questions? Okay. All right, so number 2 looks a little bit different, right? So this type of shape here, when it is tilted like this with a right angle, is called oblique. Okay, oblique. All right, so it's just a special type of prism. It's the same thing, just oblique. Okay. All right, so for this one, we can only find the volume with the knowledge that we know right now. You are not going to find a surface area of an oblique if the base is not something that you could calculate the side lengths of, since we need the perimeter. So this is a pentagon, so we're really not concerned about you finding the side length of a pentagon. It's just not important. Okay, so for this one, we're just going to find volume. All right, so volume is area of the base times height, right? So notice it gives you both of those values. So it's just 10 times 4. So it is just 40. Yep.
Just make sure on the oblique ones you look at the actual height, not the slant height.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if it were, they might trick you sometimes, and let's say it gives you like this is 10. You can't use 10, you have to use this long leg right here that's perpendicular. Okay. It might trick you. All right, go ahead and try number 5 at your groups. All right, so it's just base times height. Your area of your base would just be 12 times 6, so you're just finding that rectangle times your height of 14. 72 times 14 is 1,008 cubic feet of trash. It's kind of weird. All right, ready to move on from prisms? All right. So the next thing that we have is cylinders. All right, so volume of a cylinder. All right, so it's kind of, if you think about it like a prism, it's kind of similar, okay? So the area of the base, it would indeed just be base times height. Sorry, volume equals base times height. Okay, but the base of a cylinder is always a consistent what?
Ratio.
Circle, right? You're good. All right, so it would be pi r squared just times height, okay? So volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. All right. The surface area of a cylinder is similar to, it is, all right, get ready, 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. Okay, and that comes directly from the surface area of a prism too. Okay, so if you think about the perimeter of a circle, that would be 2 pi r times the height, okay? So that is where that comes from, that's the pH. Okay, and then plus 2 times the base, which is the area of the base is pi r squared. Okay, so it is just like the perimeter one, or I mean the prism one, okay? So if you get stuck, you can go to that, but there you go. All right, any questions thus far? All right, let's do one example. All right, so volume equals pi r squared h, yes? All right, so pi, the radius squared here would just be 4, and the height would just be 3. Okay? So 12 times pi what'd you guys get?
37.7.
All right, that's what I got. 37.7 inches cubed. Yep. Okay, so I'll show you how to fix that. Okay. All right. If you said, so on your test, are you cool if they say 12 pi on their test? Or do you want them to have the decimal?
I would prefer the decimal.
The decimal? Okay. All right, cool. I'll show you how to do it. It's a setting on your calculator. All right,
There's
anybody?
probably just like one button you have to push to approximate.
It says mode. Hit mode at the top. And then under math mode.
When I hit mode on
Doing that.
You do, but you have to switch their mode. If she types in 12 times pi in her calculator, it gives her 12 pi.
You just have to change the mode.
So you have to hit mode and then make it. Oh, there is.
So if you get an exact answer like 12 pi, the one right below the picture, see that little squiggly?
All right, so surface area is equal to 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. All right, so 2 pi times the radius of just 2 times the height of 3
Olivia, that's why I don't want you coming during it.
plus 2 pi. What's r squared? 4. Okay, so go ahead and type that mess into your calculator. 62.8. All right, so the surface area here would be 62.8 inches squared. All right, any more questions on this? All right.